Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a story about a single mistake and the two very different futures it could create for a young person. It's really a tale of two paths inside our juvenile justice system.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Meet Marcus. He's a kid from a pretty tough neighborhood. Just trying to figure things out. He's not a bad kid by any means, but he just made a really big mistake.
See, here's the thing. Marcus wasn't the one who actually pulled the school fire alarm, but he ran with the kids who did. And in that split second, in the eyes of the law, that made him just as guilty. Now that one word, delinquent, is just hanging over his head, and it threatens to shape the entire rest of his life. He's standing at a massive crossroads.
So, what's the first road he could be sent down? Well, it's the one you probably picture when you think of juvenile justice. It's the path that's all about punishment.
This is that traditional straight-line route through the system, and man, it can escalate fast. It goes from an arrest to a courtroom and could easily end with probation or even time locked up in a detention facility.
For a kid like Marcus, this path is, frankly, terrifying. It's a system that's at risk of turning one bad decision into a lifelong label. He becomes a file number that just follows him around forever, totally overshadowing any potential he has.
But that's actually not what happened to Marcus. His story took this really surprising turn, a detour away from that traditional punitive path. Instead of getting hauled into a formal courtroom to face a judge, he was sent somewhere completely unexpected, a place designed not just to punish, but to actually repair the harm that was done. He got referred to something called youth court. Now, this is a type of diversion program, and its whole goal is to catch young people like Marcus early and steer them away from the formal justice system. The focus shifts to real accountability and genuine support. And this is where you can really see the huge difference, right? Instead of words like arrest and incarceration, you have referral and support. It's not about isolating a kid. It's about helping them take responsibility and get back on track with their community.
What's so interesting here is just how concrete and, constructive these steps are. There's no probation officer checking in, no cell. Instead, Marcus has to do things that actually build character and connection, like apologizing, learning new skills, and meeting a mentor who sees his future, not just his mistake.
So you might be wondering, does this alternative approach actually make a difference? Is it just a nice idea, or does it really work? Well, the data? It's incredibly clear. In the traditional system, the results are pretty grim. More than half, let that sink in, over 50% of kids who are released are arrested again within just 1 year. That's a textbook cycle of failure.
And that cycle just gets deeper. Nearly a quarter of them are sent right back to a detention facility. This is that revolving door that Marcus just barely avoided. And these aren't just statistics. They represent shattered potential.
Diversion programs like the one Marcus went through have been proven to dramatically lower these numbers. They actually break the cycle because they get to the why behind the behavior instead of just punishing the action itself.
And youth court isn't the only game in town. There are a bunch of these proven programs that act like lifelines. Things like family therapy and mentorship, they're all designed to build a strong support network around a young person, helping them stay on the right track for good.
So, at the end of the day, this is about something so much bigger than just giving one kid a second chance. It's about a massive shift in how we even think about juvenile justice.
This slide really lays it out perfectly. The old way, supervision, is all about managing a kid's behavior after they've already messed up. But the new way, support, is about proactively building the skills and the community connections that can stop that mistake from ever happening in the first place.
So the big takeaway here is that the absolute best intervention is prevention. By investing in families, in communities, and in kids before they hit a crisis point, we create a much safer and more successful path for absolutely everyone.
And that leaves us with a really critical question to think about, one that completely reframes the whole challenge. It's not just about what do we do with a kid like Marcus after he makes a mistake. It's about how do we build a world where he has the support he needs to thrive from the very beginning.